friends. TBH, we're both happier and better off without her. But the guilt tripping from people who don't even remotely understand our situation is making me crazy. As someone who has dealt with a toxic mother, I'm 50 now, I can say that the decision to treat her with caution and distance is entirely valid. Every time I have been to someone else guilting me to interact in a way I wasn't comfortable with, it ended badly. You know what type of relationship you are comfortable with. Let that be your guide. Best friend gets a girlfriend. Then all of a sudden decides he never felt like we were real friends. He said this. Also, he lied about having a GF for about 3 months. I DC about it. But he lied a lot. Teenagers are generally pretty shitty about balancing romantic and platonic friendships. It sucks. I'm sorry. So are adults. My ex-coworker, who I was kind of good friends with, started dating a lawyer at the firm we were working at. She stopped hanging out with me when that relationship started. I even brought it up. My theory, though, is that she used me to get to him. My cubicle was across from his office. She was really desperate to get a boyfriend though. I just graduated high school with the realization I have no actual friends but one because I'm too shy to make friends and I tend to burn bridges with the ones I do have. Hopefully university is better. I'll try my best to change that. Last night after watching The Incredibles 2, I told this girl I've been hanging out with for a couple of months that I liked her. The feelings weren't reciprocated and I now have a new hobby of going through coloring books. I have many regrets from high school. One was never telling this girl I liked her. I found out last year, senior in college, she liked me all through high school. Now, we live far apart and it can't happen. Do not ever regret acting on something like that. Trust me. If it fails, you won't care in a few years. If it doesn't, you might have a great time. My dad and us inviting me to live with him. I want to go but my mom won't let. I'm finishing high school and I just made 16. I'm not fluent. My English is pretty bad. And I want to study English in my dad's country. Obs, I'm from Brazil. Having no ducking friends that genuinely like me. I didn't find my people till I was 26. Teenagers are so damn self-centered it's amazing they don't walk in circles. It has always been math. That is a dramatic subject. Wi-Fi just got disconnected and I have to make my 4G data last. Just graduated high school and I don't know what college to go to. Finals, I'm kind of ducked for college. I failed math in high school and barely passed high school. I took some placement tests and qualified for a scholarship. I recently got my bachelor's, so if my stupid ass can do it then you can too. Just realized I'm not a teenager anymore. Adulthood sucks as, but at the same time my teen years were probably the worst thing I'll ever experience. Same. Just finished college and I feel like a child disguised as an adult. Just hoping nobody finds me out. But my 60-plus-year-old dad told me he still feels like that sometimes. So I guess everyone's just faking adulthood together. Sister is an anti-vaxxer and is begging my dad for money while simultaneously trashing us on FB. 2 of my 4 friends are dating and they're in a really toxic relationship where one threatens to break up with the other basically every day. Guilt trips. Stuff like that. Like friend 1 asks the rest of the group, hey, should I break up friend 2 on a weekly basis? Makes it really awkward. They've broken up about 2-3 times already. We're all going on a trip in 2 weeks, so basically we have to hope and pray that their relationship is strong enough to last until then. BC, if they break up, the whole trip is essentially ruined. The fact that I spend most days thinking about ending my sheet but I can't tell anyone or a professional because I will most definitely be put in a psych hold. Also the fact that June marks 5 years since my dad's suicide. Duck Father's Day and all of June. I like this girl. Pretty sure she likes me. She just engages conversations a lot. It tells me she likes me. But I'm currently abroad for an exchange program. I'm afraid she might be over me when I come back. About to go to college and have no idea what to major in? Get your general classes done first. That way you have 2 years to decide. Also, don't let the university duck you over. A friend who has told me to my face that she was interested in a relationship with me has been leading me on for weeks. Today told me that she isn't and never was interested in me. I guess I don't blame her. But I feel pretty crushed at the moment. It's kinda put me into a depressive spiral and I stopped taking my antidepressants because I was mostly trying to be happy for her sake. I'm just a duck in mess at the moment. I really like this thread because it's a bunch of kids being honest and almost every reply is the kind of advice you would hear from a sitcom older brother. It's wholesome. I'm supposed to go to summer school tomorrow in order to fulfill a pay credit. Thing is that I live like 5 miles from the school. And they apparently don't provide busing. Both my parents work. And the only time when they can pick me up is 3 hours after the class ends. During their lunch break. They provided busing before, for duck's sake why couldn't you do it this year? Edit, I'm taking an Uber now. Thanks for the advice. Can you afford Uber? If not, will they give you a pass and pay if you can run the 5 miles in a certain amount of time? Even if I walk the 5 miles. Which is not ideal considering the route isn't safe. They wouldn't give me the pass for pay. They have separate units which I have to complete. There's a basketball unit, a hockey unit, a swim one, etc. So the run wouldn't encompass all the aspects for those. Edit, an Uber is an interesting idea though. Admittedly, this happened last year. But some group of assholes at my school created a racist social media account. They got busted for it eventually. And a couple people got maced for it. The ringleader either left the school or was expelled. But needless to say he didn't come back to school this year. Tarnished the reputation of our entire class. This year, there's also some shit going down with social media in the freshman class. This time it was an account posting memes about teachers at the school. And a lot of people were in on it. It was discovered eventually. And mostly turned out fine. Except that our humanities teacher was absolutely pissed about it. He's not writing college recommendations for any freshmen once they become seniors. And pretty much hates the entire class now. I've had him. And he's one of the harder teachers. So my heart goes out to their GPAs. Edit, a detail. Teacher who's being a jerk. This is the full story if you want to read. I posted this on our AskReddit 2 days ago. I was part of a 2-year program in grade 9 in which I took a few classes together in sequence and did a project at the end of each year. It was near the end of the year and the project was underway. We were made up of groups from years 1 and 2 of the program. So freshmen and sophomores working together. I was sick for a week and went to the teacher, let's call her Mrs. Module, of the year 2 students for information about what I missed because she was in charge of the project. She told me it was on her teacher page and I thanked her and left. The next day I get a bunch of texts from sophomores and juniors that Mrs. Module had complained about me by name, saying I wasn't afraid of her and was a disrespectful student for not checking the website first and asking her before school. She really hurt my feelings and hurt the way my peers view me as a person. She then did it again the next year. This time telling a class of sophomores about how I was terrible at presenting and got a poor grade. Something which was false. I got a 92. I then noticed she set the Google Classroom we used for handing things in to automatically share every document we produced in class along with our scores on those works with a woman in Arkansas. I'm an NY, named Jody. I asked her about it and she told me to tell nobody. I asked my friend if he saw it and she overheard me. She threatened to send me to a week of detention if I told anyone else, because she was obviously violating FERPA, NYZ policy, and our district's policy. The next week I took my midterm and failed, 63%. Lowest out of 60 students in her class. I've never gotten less than a 94 on midterms finals any English test. I asked to see it. She just gave me an old Regents test which any English teacher could grade, because I wanted a second opinion. Apparently she throws them out after grading. Sorry that was long. I just wanted to say something. My girlfriend's mom doesn't want her to see any guys. She literally won't even meet me because that involves a guy in her house. She's divorced her husband and kicked my girlfriend's brother out of the house. My mom didn't know that when me and my girlfriend were hanging out with each other. It was without my girlfriend's mom knowing. I always am honest with my parents, and so I told my mom that my girlfriend's mom didn't know. Now my mom won't let me hang out with my girlfriend because her mom doesn't want us hanging out. I'm really happy with her, and this is really stressful and saddening. I've always been a really good kid with great grades in sports and never breaking any rules, but in about 40 minutes I'm sneaking out to see her. Wish me luck, I guess. Going from high school to college. This is my last summer with my best friends because we're all going to different schools in the fall. We'll still be friends, but it won't be the same. Also, I had a realization that I won't see most of my school friends ever again, and it's really bumming me out. Haha, I just lost all of my friends because of a Freudian slip in an argument. How? Got into an argument. Was having a depression-induced mental breakdown. Part of a pretty broken friend group. That is, they aren't really be able to function outside of the friend group. Said everybody in the group were shitty people, including me and the person I was arguing with. Actually meant broken. Gonna have an intervention my friend who's letting Drew Gus ruin her life. Wish me luck. I might delete this comment later. I'm not sure if this is the right thread to vent about it. But in another 2 weeks it'll be my birthday. Now, that would make me happy. But I realize that in a few years I'll be considered a young adult. Whatever. But I feel like I haven't really gotten the chance to act like a kid. Pressure from school and teachers. Uncertainty about my future schooling and careers. The constant loads of stress. I'm always spending time worrying. Worrying about everything, and I can't stop. From when I was younger, I was told that I was mature and should be mature for my age. So I tried to shape myself to fit that, acting older than I really was. But I'm exhausted of acting. I've run out of any genuine ambition and drive because I'm just too tired. My years as a youth are wasting away in a way I know I'll regret, and I've been unable to do squat about it because my head is still always so full of hopes of trying to succeed in a future I'm not yet ready to face. I just want to be a kid. I just want to feel like it's okay to act like a kid. I don't want to pretend like I'm an adult. I want to stop drowning in this sea of stress. Even if only for a little bit. I don't have a huge pool of friends that I am able to be with, and I'm too huge of an introvert to find new people. An introvert who loves to talk. What a surprising thing to see. Everyone I live with just fights with each other. I'm almost 99 and number 37, certain I'm schizoid. No drama actually. I got a real nice girl. School went well. And I'm just chilling on Quake Champions. Getting back into competitive games. Update, me and girl broke up. As did Quake Champions, and my grades are still good. Fortunately. Glad you're doing well, man. It's rough these days. Tons of the kids at my school are jerks. One even went out of her way to call me she when she knew I'm not a girl. Another one throws tantrums every time something doesn't go his way. Like he's a little kid or something. A third calls everyone normies. And SJW cucks. As if that's a thing people say in real life. He only calls kids cucks when the teacher isn't around. Of course. My friends and I are in a multi-day debate about what to name our group chat. Hope this lightens up the thread a little bit. I've learned it the hard way as an early teen not to get into any sort of drama. Now all the drama I gotta deal with is assignments. I'm pretty pathetic, like. Everyone has actual friends and stuff, but then there's me on Reddit and Tumblr just binging on the posts. Whenever I try to make a new friend it just kind of ends awkwardly. I could not be any more awkward. I mean, the last time that I tried to DM someone, I said, "You kind of look like Guy Fieri with your new hair." The most social I have been was all the times that I've watched people have fun and do things on their Snapchat stories, but it's okay I guess. I'd rather write or do math because whenever I find myself in a conversation, it's just not important or deep enough. Some people my age are so fake. Doing anything to get likes on Instagram and applying that into real life. Saying things like the year was amazing when in reality, it was pretty darn mediocre for all of us. It's not real though, and I don't know if they understand that. Hell, this isn't quite real if I were to be honest with you. A lot of the time, I get scared that I'm not real and I don't exactly know how to explain it, but yeah. Sorry if I couldn't deliver some real juice, but yeah. Already on summer break, but the guy I've been crushing on and off for like the past 2 years told me a week before the end of the school year that he was transferring to a boarding school out of state. He's someone I have a ton of history with, and I guess him leaving isn't really drama per se, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do without him besides the fact that he's probably the person I've had the strongest feelings for. He's also one of my closest friends and I'm still kinda hung over the fact that he's not gonna be here. We both just finished our freshman year of high school and I knew him since the start of middle school, but we didn't really start talking until last year because we were both in mostly the same classes. I need a ducking girlfriend. You know. The reasonable answer to this would be you don't need another person to validate your existence, but duck if I don't believe it. I ducking hate myself. I need validation from other people to feel even somewhat confident in myself. I'm the kind of person who questions every single thing I do. I get upset even over tiny mistakes because I feel like everyone is judging me. And I try to do the right thing even though I think I'm a ducking shitty person. So having someone to validate me while simultaneously being there if things don't go as planned sounds amazing. I know the response to this would be, isn't that too much to expect from one girl? And what about the part you'd be playing in the relationship? And you'd be totally right to think I'm just creating some impossible wish fulfillment in my head. But trying to dream about my future one of the only things keeping me going right now. My best friend has a girlfriend and they have been together for 6 months now. He is absolutely subservient to her because they never ducked once in these 6 months. We were supposed to go to a countryside festival in my town, which I planned months in advance, and he bailed out last minute. Literally. I was waiting for him at the entrance, only to receive a text that he wasn't coming anymore because he had to take his GF shopping. I have never been so disrespected in my life. I just ducked up Father's Day beyond repair for the dad that I love more than anyone could comprehend. And to make matters worse, I'm pretty sure I made him and my stepmom split up. On the cusp of going to college for my bachelor's, my dad's just moved away to another town for a new job. And my mother is extremely frustrating to live with, but at the same time I'm trying to make things work with her. In March, I was super stressed out and my parents kept pushing me until I couldn't take it anymore. I told them that I wanted to heal myself. And due to them basically ignoring that and forgetting it even happened, that feeling has never gone away. Nothing helps it go away. But I can numb it for a little bit while I'm at work or playing video games or just doing a hobby. Until I return to reality and continue hating myself and the life I have ahead of me. It's basically a self-contained crisis that I can't ask for help with because the people who should have been helping me don't ducking care, and I don't have any friends or access to social workers since I just graduated high school. My GF wants to take a break, but we still cuddle, hug, hold hands, and go on dates. She says the reasoning is that we weren't friends that long before we started dating and she thinks we need to just be friends for a while. I'm confused because I thought that we were each other's best friends during our romantic period, but I guess not. A girl found out I masturbated to her. This story happens in summer break of 2017. For some backstory, there's this girl at school, I'll call her A. A is pretty hot and well, let's just say she doesn't just get attention from her face. Recently, she and my best friend, I'll call him G, have been talking recently. They are considered friends now, I guess. So they talk on Instagram and out of the blue, she asks him for his password. She offers her password in exchange. For some reason, G decides to give A his password. G notifies me before exchanging because we, especially ME, talk about A. I masturbated to her on multiple occasions. I also have a crush on her sister, whom I also jacked off to : G decides to leave one group chat where we talk about A, but forgets about the conversations with me personally. G gives A his password and nothing happens for about 2 hours or so. Later on, G texts me A saw our chat. I'm freaking the duck out because this is classified information that only me and my closest friends know. I have linked a few photos of the conversation here. A wants to join our group chat now to talk. I'm still freaking out. We invite her and as it turns out, A is actually extremely cool about this situation. She didn't freak out or threaten me with humiliation, although I think she told a few people. But oh well. When we came back to school, everything was normal. She didn't say or do anything, which was great. I assume that she didn't do anything because she is aware of how beautiful she is, so she gets a ton of attention. So yeah. That's the story of how my best friend pretty much exposed me to a hot girl. Can't tell if I actually like this guy or I like who he is on Drew Gus. I want to tell him how I feel, but I'm afraid to get rejected and lose the friendship we have now. It really ducks with me that we have great conversations while he's high and I feel like we're bonding. But the next day he barely remembers any of it and it's as if that bonding pretty much didn't happen. It's so one-sided it's isolating. He only hits me up first if he's high or horny anyways apparently. And I just hate myself for caring about him far more than he, probably, cares about me. He's been extremely kind to me before and has been willing to risk some things for me though. So I'm just overall confused. Duck his charisma. My best friend, who is a guy, has stopped talking to me ever since I got a boyfriend who I first met because of him. I'm still not completely sure but I think my best friend had a crush on me and now I've gone and hurt his feelings by dating the friend he introduced me to. I really hope my best friend was just being my friend and didn't want anything more lol.